HarperCollins presents Mad About Shakespeare, From Classroom to Theatre to Emergency Room, written and narrated by Jonathan Bate. Are all the people mad? 12th night. I felt rather lonely this morning, so I went and unboxed a Shakespeare. There's my comfort. John Keats. Interviewer. Which are your favourite contemporary writers? Nabokov. Shakespeare. Interviewer. We said contemporary. Nabokov. Always Shakespeare. My offering is a period piece. I hope you may enjoy looking back over my shoulder. David Niven, The Moon's a Balloon. Chapter 1. My Father's Shakespeare. My father's Shakespeare was the New Temple edition. Pocket-sized, with bright red boards, they sat in a row on their own little shelf above the mahogany wireless, around which we gathered as a family to listen to the plummy voice of Roy Plumley's weekly presentation of Desert Island Discs on the BBC Home Service. And what book would you take, apart from the Bible and the complete works of Shakespeare, which are already there? I wish I had asked my mother and father what book they would have chosen, but the presence of the Bible by their bed and the New Temple Shakespeares in the living room readied the house for the castaways who were regularly invited into our home. My mother believed that hospitality was a duty. Her mother had taken in evacuees during the war. Once a month on a Sunday afternoon, we entertained a boy from the local school for the blind, a reminder to me and my brother how privileged we were to have our sight. And every Christmas we welcomed a lonely Australian or Malaysian student via a scheme organised by the Commonwealth Institute in London. That was the only time of year when another wartime rule, a frugal table, was broken. We didn't have a television at the time of Winston Churchill's funeral, so we watched it at a neighbour's home. I laid out an imitation of the procession through the streets of London with my toy soldiers on the dining room table. Even at the age of 6.5, I sensed that it was the end of the era that had shaped my parents. 4 years later, in 1969, we were propelled into the future, watching the moon landing on our first black and white television. It had taken the place of the big old radio with its visible valves, white knobs, and the red line on the dial that moved across the names of stations near and far. The incomplete set of the New Temple Shakespeares remained on the shelf above all through my teens, as if in a shrine. I didn't open them until it was too late. Much Ado About Nothing has never been my favourite Shakespearean comedy. Over the years, my personal #1 comedy spot has flipped between A Midsummer Night's Dream, The Winter's Tale, and Twelfth Night. But there is one speech in Much Ado that I can never get out of my head. Claudio has been tricked into believing that his fiancée Hero has been unfaithful to him on the eve of their marriage. His gullibility in this regard is a black mark against his character, so he is forced to pay a heavy price. A friar assists in a cunning plan to make him believe that Hero has died of shock and shame because of the way in which he has denounced her as a whore in the middle of their wedding ceremony. The friar then delivers a homily that includes the lines, "For it so falls out that what we have we prize not to the worth whiles we enjoy it, but being lacked and lost, why then we rack the value, then we find the virtue that possession would not show us while it was ours." You never really value what you have until you have lost it, until it is too late, or who you have and what their virtues were. This is especially true if you are a teenager, hormonally programmed not to value the virtues espoused by your parents. It was the summer holidays in early August 1978, the long vacation after my first year at university. I was running a show called Magic Circus.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?